Hey guys, so today I've got my hands on some Cooking Puchi Food. This is a Japanese toy where you can use dough and whipped cream to shape cakes and pastries, and these solidify over a day or two, and you have your toys basically. So here we go. Now I am just unwrapping everything. There's a lot to unwrap. There are a lot of little things, and I want to make sure that I have everything ready to use because I am not sure how fast the dough will dry, but I do have my humidifier on just in case. So you have your little clips, your mixing bowls, rolling pins, little stirrer, little strawberries and cherries that you have to cut out for decoration at the end. So I can't really read Japanese, and we'll be using the instructions kind of like an IKEA instruction sheet where I'll be referring to the pictures more than anything. Hopefully that goes well. The plastic sheet seems to be to put your finished items, and this little plastic card seems to be to help you measure out how much dough you need and how to roll the portions to the right size so that you can cut them up to make either your cakes or cookies. We are going to start by making some strawberry cheesecake with the yellow and the white dough. I am cutting out exactly half the roll and sealing it with the provided clip just so it stays moist and doesn't harden too early. Rolling it with my hands, it can be a bit tough to roll. You will see later that I give up using the rolling pin and start using the bare strength of my palms, which is a lot easier. I do not have the dainty hands for this, not really, nuh-uh. Okay, so now we're doing the same with the yellow. I'm assuming the yellow is the cake layer and the white is the cream layer of the strawberry shortcake, cheesecake, whatever. So you're really pressing it out and rolling it. I would compare it to really tough plasticine or like glue tack minus the sticky. You really gotta knead it. Now we are finishing up the other two layers of the cake as you do, and really going at it with my hands a lot harder than at the start because I realized the more you knead it, the easier it is to work. But here we are, learning things 2019. And that is the cake that we're trying to make. So we are stacking on the layers, giving it a bit of a roll so they stick together, and then we will be cutting it. So you don't have to worry if it overshoots, it's totally fine. I like to mark it up before I cut it just to make sure it's a perfect circle. You can just go for it, whatever you want. Tear off the excess and kinda check that it's circular, I guess. And now you're going to use the little cutting tool to cut out a slice of the cake, just like the box. Okay, now this is a cake texture tool, so when you press it onto the dough, it actually makes the dough look like cake. Mind-blowing. Awesome. doing the same for the rest of the whole cake, just to give it that detail that adds so much. Going in for a final press before going back to the remaining dough and making a cookie out of it. So I found just pressing it in and scraping it off was a method that you could use. I tried a million different methods trying to get this done because it is so tiny and finicky. So, you will see. We have just made the little spring roll by pushing the dough in the mold to flatten it, which gave it a very nice cake texture, and now it is ready to roll when we make the cream at the end. Now we are going to make a square layer for the square cake, and again there are guidelines on the mat, and I am using my thumb now because it's a lot easier, and I am tired of the kneading. Still got a long way to go, but I'm beginning to realize that this is not as easy as it looks online, and the people who do it without any trouble probably go to the finger gym or something. This is tough work. Making layers for the, I'm assuming, berry cake or rainbow cake. This is the bright pink, the light pink, and the blue and the white stacked up together in a nice round stack and cut like the strawberry shortcake. Again, that you have to seal your pack once you've taken out some dough and cut it open, just in case it dries early. You don't want that. That would be extremely annoying. Just rolling the layers together so they stick once again before we begin to cut it. Now we gotta put in the little indentations for the cake texture, which is fun. I love it so much. It's my favorite tool. Amazing. 10/10 for innovation. Go Japan. Now we cut a simple slice. Put in that texture again that I know now and love, and get it ready on the side to get dressed. With the remaining dough, we are making another heart-shaped cookie. We will get about 5 to 6 of these by the end of this video. Now I would like like to add that there are also molds for little stars, a little bow, and little hearts. This was extremely hard to make, so tell me if you do better. I was so bad at making them. I had to trim the edges almost all the time, and I think at some point I just wanted to give up, but you know, you don't quit. You're not supposed to quit. So we have made the Swiss roll layer, and we will now be making the square layer for the square cake. I personally preferred this color blend the most compared to the yellow and white because it was the most interesting. We are stacking on the layers for the cake now. Again, don't forget to roll your layers just in case they fall apart, which would be so unideal because you have worked so hard to get this far, even though it's just a toy. I need to say how satisfying it is when you finally cut out the cake slices, because like kneading and rolling it is, to me, the tedious part. So that's very liberating, and I cannot wait to get these little cakes dressed. Most of all, mostly just to mix the whipped cream because it looks really cool. Now I have mixed the leftovers from the multicolored square cake, and I am going to be making a Swiss roll out of that. I now am making a little square layer for the multi-tiered square cake, just because I have just enough to make it and I want to use it the best way I can. I'm going to be making some more cookies and Swiss rolls with the individual colors. So this took me about, I think, half an hour just to make sure it was done right. The markings on the plastic mat kind of show you where to cut it. I followed the picture for that one. Now I am just starting to make the little toppings for the cakes and pastries. This was painstaking and took me a long time.
Lying up on my worst days. This song plays in Dilla bumps after we start to burn J's. That's the type of shit that I live for. The type of shit, the type you I want you to live for. The type of shit, the type you shit you blush in your face sore. Park battles with fake swords. You give mana and health, girl. Be magic. Magic. Come and fall in love with these sad kids. Yeah. Magic. Yeah. Abracadabra.
So I've tried flipping the mold over and rubbing it so that the ends would fall off and I could get the little topping. I tried using smaller amounts inside and they all kind of worked, but you have to find what works for you and figure it out. I once again will say that this was not as easy as it looks on YouTube, and I hope to give you guys an accurate review of this as a person with normal fingers who's not super duper dexterous but tries her best. And then I held you in your arms and was decreed by all the witches, wizards, fairies, and old gods that the magic spark between us two would never go out or be at odds. It was written in the stars with words like abracadabra that you would come and fall in love with with me. Yeah. I love the blue bowl so much. I am so biased towards it because I spent so much time making sure that one was perfect. I love blue so much. So had to do it right, had to do it justice. And eventually you see me kind of slowing down with the decorations because mendokusai. Now you wanna get the toppings as neat and pretty as possible because they will be topping your cake, and if you have cracks in your cake further on, you're going to be putting whipped cream and the toppings on them to hide those blemishes. I would advise you to make more than I did. If you feel up to it or are amazing at it, I thought I did okay, but I would have loved so many more sprinkles because sprinkles are amazing. I love sprinkles so much, except these sprinkles. These sprinkles were like, oh my god, they were interesting to make. They were, yeah. If you have a child, you could get your child to make it for you because they have smaller hands. I don't know, I have little pianist hands, so that was a bit I am now making purple, thank you art school, by mixing pink and blue together. And well, it does take a while to mix, so I mixed it a lot. So you can play around with the ratios to see whether you want a lighter or a darker purple, how red you want it, etc, etc. And then really mix it together because you don't want that weird marbly effect, I guess. Unless you want the marbly effect, then that's okay as well. But it's up to you. Now, when I look down to my right, I am so heartened that I have come this far, and there's only a little bit more to go. But at this time, I remember being pretty knackered from all the molding and squeezing and the mild finger cramping and the small bursts of when I couldn't get the little sprinkles right. So I hope it goes very well for you, and let me know how you do. Now it is time to top the cakes. I am so excited about this part. You want to first look at your strawberry and cherry toppings that they have provided and decide what you want. Take out the little cake topper and get the whipped cream ingredients. You want to put the bag in after putting the little pipe at the end. Clip it shut because we don't want it leaking everywhere when you're mixing. And there's a very nifty slot in the mixing bowl for you to put the pipe end in so it doesn't slip away. Secure it with the top lid and squeeze in the tube that looks like poster color. Smells like poster color but also like glue, and if it gets on your hands it's a nightmare, so please have wet wipes ready because it is so... it's just very sticky. You want to prepare your piping bag and start piping cream into the little Swiss rolls. Hopefully you haven't taken too long in between so that they're still malleable and can be rolled up. I remember for my first spring roll that I made, it did crack because I took too long in between and went to do some laundry as well. So don't do that, and just kind of keep at it once you've started. I like to scrape away the excess cream. You don't have to if you like it to ooze out. I don't know, it's a preference thing. And after you roll it, don't forget to squeeze it into the Swiss roll shaper, which again adds more cake texture with its mold. And that's just great. Just such a big fan of the cake texture magic thing. Now we are going to pipe the strawberry shortcake. There are instructions and pictures on how to pipe the cream, but what I did for those little lumps is just quick press and lifts. Presses and lifts. So they make these little adorable stars. We are putting on the little strawberries that they provided. These are so finicky. Oh my god, they were so small. I now have a higher blood pressure after this toy, but had fun. Play on, player. I am doing the same star pipe thing that I did for the cheesecake, shortcake, cake on the berry cake, rainbow cake thing, but I am changing it up by creaming the inside and now adding sprinkles to it. So this is not on the box, but I kinda gave up with making many little hearts and stars, and so made sprinkles, which to me look equally cute, and you know, it's a toy. Have fun with it. I will say again that if the whipped cream does get on your hands, you want to wipe it before it gets tacky, because then everything starts sticking to you, all the toppings, and it's horrible. Please wipe your hands with wet wipes. They saved my life. I used probably half a bag of wet wipes for this project and was squeaky clean and unannoyed by the leaking whip. I will say that doing this to relaxing music was pretty therapeutic for me as my day went on, literally from the afternoon till the evening, but it was extremely fulfilling when I looked down at this point to see the fake cakes and cookies looking extremely adorable, and knowing that I did it by myself was extremely satisfying. PSA that you can cover up the cracks in your Swiss roll if you have the whipped cream and it's on the top-ish, or just be creative and find a way to cover it up. It's not the end of the world. I need to reinstate that this is just a toy, so don't beat yourself up if you get it wrong. We are going to dress the last cake with the whipped cream, and we are just giving it a good old ice around the top layer. I've made a little dome for the top, and I'm going to top that with a small white star. For the creamy sides, I have taken out more of the little plastic toppings and have dressed the sides with those. Now, I have let these dry for 2 days, so please do not do that when you're just finished. And we will now be setting up the display for the toys. If you've watched this far, I hope your meal has been pleasant as you watched me make fake food. So the containers for the toys are in little perforated cardboard sheets which you have to push out. The instructions are in pictures, and it is very easy compared to what you just went through. So take heart in the fact that if you just finished making all those cakes, this will be a piece of cake. We are now displaying the cakes and folding the little individual cake wrappers in the right directions to hold your single slices. This is a great part of the playtime because you can see your hard work on the table, and it's so cute. And also wonder how you're going to use this in the future or just let it collect dust. And there you have it. Thank you for spending half an hour with me on this slow playtime video. And I hope that you get a chance to try making these toys too. And if not, that you enjoyed the process in which we turned dough into fake cakes and cookies. Again, this food is not edible, so please do not eat it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you soon.